welcome back to the Hannahcast YouTube channel, and today it is time to give my personal picks for the Oscars. If I picked the winners, but wait, it's not if I picked the winners, it's if we picked the winners, and oh my god, it is the man, the myth, the legend himself. It is Cole, the Oscar expert. How are you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing good. I don't know what I'm doing on this channel, but we're happy to be here nonetheless.
Yeah. I totally didn't, just like kidnap you or anything like that. Like that would be crazy.
Yeah. I'm not behind the green screen that we can see on your screen right now.
Yeah, like I put him in like a little box of void that he can't escape from. But yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, but yeah.
It's great to be here anyway. It's a
Hey,
nice void. You provided some Cheetos for me,
oh yeah,
so can't complain.
yeah. I'm not much of a Cheetos guy myself, but I hope you enjoy those Cheetos. And I gotta say, it is amazing to have you on this channel. You're kind of the reason why I got really into Oscar predicting. I mean, there's a bunch of different factors as well. Like Will Mavity got me into the visual effects race and whatnot, but you really showed that like this stuff could be funny. This stuff could be fun. Like, so you having or you being on this channel is kind of making everything come full circle from my perspective.
Oh, well, thank you for saying that. I think that you also bring some fun to the Oscars, so I I agree that you do that, and I do watch your channel.
Oh my god, thank you so much. That's so cool. I mean, it really means a lot to me. But yeah, like this is going to be interesting. Like, how are you feeling about this year's nominees across the board? Like, how does it compare to some other years?
We've had a couple, every year I'm disappointed by something because come like December or January, I'm getting my hopes up for like a really, really like the best possible lineup is like kind of within reach. And then it falls short in one or two areas, but I think it's a great year. My top 10 has a good amount of overlap with this top 10, and the Oscars really pulled through for some excellent movies this year. So I think that we're in a pretty great year.
I feel like it's a very solid year. Like, it's not one of my favorite years, especially given one of the films that is the front runner right now. I don't know if you know the lore, but
I know that you're not a fan, just like last year.
God, again, at least with One Battle After Another, it's not as bad as Anora. So I do like the message that I don't mind the messages of either film, but like specifically with One Battle After Another, it's not like it has like bad messages or anything. Again, neither does Anora. But it's like it's just for me as a comedy, it just doesn't work. It's just like which I was really excited to see this film, and I do like his dramas, but between this and Licorice Pizza, I think I might not. I think I probably just don't like Paul Thomas Anderson's comedies. It's like when he does drama, I'm all for it, but I don't know. That's just me. But but given this year, do you feel like you could have picked or better winners than the Oscars probably will?
Well, I could pick winners that align with my taste more than the Oscars that will align with my taste, purely of it being my taste. But I believe that tonight we're picking what we would win. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're picking like what we would vote for. Like if we picked the
Okay.
winners, this is what we would go. This is what we would go for if we had our ballots.
Yeah.
Yeah, because as the Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel once said, if the Oscars had brains, this is what they would vote for. So here we go. Starting with Best Picture, we have Bugonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and Train Dreams. Overall, very solid lineup. The lows aren't as low as last year for me, but also the highs aren't quite as high, except for one film. But yeah, like, what are your feelings about this Best Picture lineup? And before we get into who we would pick, I guess since this is ranked choice voting, we could probably just go, narrow it down from 1 to 10 after our thoughts.
I mean, I think you have several like great movies in here that will be remembered throughout the years to come. Then that's probably like maybe half the lineup is like actually like fantastic movies. The worst of the worst here is like if F1 is the worst movie we have, I don't think it's so bad. People think that I'm a huge F1 hater, And I think that movie is fine. I was really just upset about it. It was just an accident, to be clear.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got to call it is hard to pick a winner because there's some fantastic stuff in here.
Yeah, I do agree. Like for me, F1 isn't the worst, but admittedly, I was upset that it did get in over. It was just an accident. But then again, I don't know what was number 11, accident or Blue Moon, and I didn't really care for Blue Moon either. So it's like if it was between Blue Moon or F1, I guess F1. But at the same time, I don't like. Again, that depends on if Accident was number 11 or not, because obviously Accident's like a top 5 film for me. Like so, obviously I would
Mhm.
put that above it. For me, the answer is very clear. My number one pick is Sinners. I have not been more excited watching a movie probably since maybe Oppenheimer. Like, this is the kind of film I love seeing as a best picture, either number two or front runner, because like everything, it has everything going for it. Amazing performances, just such rich writing, flashy direction. The production value is unbelievably good. The music is just incredible. I've seen this movie 3 times, and every time I see it, I learn something new about it. And keep in mind, I don't rewatch a ton of movies, so Sinners being that for me is like, oh my god, like this is like easily going down as like one of the decade best films for me. So I would go Sinners, and I know it's going to sound weird seeing this at number 2 for me, but also given like how much I really enjoy like what kind of film Sinners is. I also really loved Frankenstein in that way. Like I love the big lavish production of it all, but also like the way it adapts the story and yet it also changes it, and everything about that I just find really cool. Then I would go Hamnet, especially that third act really got to me. I was like, oh my god, I love that. After Hamnet, then Train Dreams, Marty Supreme, then Begonia, then The Secret Agent, then Sentimental Value, then F1, then One Battle After Another at number 10. That's the only film I didn't care for in this list, which is sad because it is the front runner right now, but I can't help it. I gotta rank how I gotta rank. What about you?
This may come as a surprise to people who have, seen what I like this year. There's a certain movie that I rewatched this year, and it, I think stands really tall above the rest. And maybe it's a spoiler for my upcoming top 10. But my favorite of these nominees is The Secret Agent, as it would happen,
Whoa!
because what my rewatch went splendidly, I have to say. I just think I was so locked in. I didn't find there to be a boring second because I think that there is just, you know, delicious subtext everywhere you look. It's an extremely just like intelligently made film, and I love the kind of subtle emotional undercurrents. And I also think that as a political film, there's just so much to dissect here. And there's maybe not any other movie this year where I feel like you can just it's in terms of its depth, it's like an Olympic sized swimming pool. Like you can swim for hours in many different directions. And I think it has a lot to say about the sort of specter of a dictatorship and kind of what it feels like to exist in one, and not in an alarming way that we might expect it to feel. And I was even, a lot of it did make me feel about, or a lot of it did make me think about our current politics in the US too, and the way that the government in Brazil is able to like manipulate narratives, but not even in such an overt way. People's attention and fears kind of get funneled into like pieces of media and away from the actual source that they should be directing it at. Um, I think it's like a really brilliant movie, and so I would vote for The Secret Agent with no uh, expectations of it possibly winning.
Wow,
Um,
that is inspired. I have been thinking about rewatching it because it's one of those films that's like it is kind of lingering in my brain and whatnot. So that's a really interesting pick.
Yeah, I would absolutely recommend like anybody rewatch it because especially if you're an American, you may not be like fully attuned to the politics, and so it definitely takes a little bit more time to sink in. And it also, watching, Brother Bro did a review with Vinicius, who is somebody who is from Brazil who appreciates the movie, and watching him talk about it and hearing about how significant the film was to Brazilians and what it meant to them and their history and like the time that they're at like now and why they need the film now, like it actually only heightened the experience of the movie for me watching it a second time and just knowing more about the context. So yeah, that's I think my favorite of the nominees. At number two, I would go with One Battle After Another. I definitely think this would be a great winner. I happen to not quite agree with you. I think that the
Yeah.
movie is a hoot and a great time. And it also has, the politics are like more arousing. And I think that they speak to audiences in kind of like a blockbuster sense where it gets you to root. It communicates what it's saying by getting you to root for certain things, but it also has a great message about the failures of each generation and the how they can kind of propel their own movement, passing it on to their children, and you know it's a great PTA time. Number three would probably be, I'd say it's close between Marty Supreme and Sentimental Value. So one of those, I've seen both of those twice as well. Both fantastic and great rewatches. Then Sinners, which I love, and I may check out Sinners a third time just to give it a little refresher before the Oscars because that's a great film. Then maybe Begonia or Train Dreams are close. Then we'd have to do Frankenstein F1. Oh, sorry, forgot about Hamnet. Hamnet goes, I think, under Sinners.
Ooh, very different, takes in terms of the ranking of the Best Picture winners. So like, but yeah, so at least for you, like you liked all these movies.
I did. I did like them all.
All right, yeah, yeah, and yeah. Again, like I said, very good crop of nominees. Like I don't know if it's I don't know if it's as strong as like let's say the Oppenheimer year, but like this one, there's some very good films here, very good films. But yeah, uh, now we get to Best Directing. The nominees are Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another, Ryan Coogler for Sinners, Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme, Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value, and Chloe Zhao for Hamnet. What's your pick for directing? If you had the ballot cast to you.
Well, I'll try to think about this not just in terms of what my favorite movie is, but I'm going to come back to the same conclusion anyway. I would vote for Paul Thomas Anderson. Part of it is because, I mean, I wouldn't even factor this in, but like as a career win, like I really want it. There Will Be Blood was pretty much the movie that got me into films, and I've been a big fan ever since. And so he's definitely owed a director Oscar, but also I think One Battle After Another really speaks to his mastery of the craft. It's not even necessarily that it's so tightly controlled of a movie like maybe There Will Be Blood is, but he has a way where he can kind of adapt the story to, what the actors are doing, and even like the locations that they found kind of worked their way into the story like as it went along. And his ability to orchestrate these moving parts and leave room for spontaneity, I think made the film, that much more fun and also just that much more interesting. And I think every shot and edit is very well intentioned, and I think it is the work of a master filmmaker.
My pick again, it kind of goes back with that. It's like if I love Sinners, Ryan Coogler is going to be my pick for director. I mean, again, like I said about why I love Sinners so much as a film. Ryan Coogler is at the height of his game. I already knew he was a great director, but man, when he just like cooks this hard, oh my god, especially that I Lied to You scene. That's just like one of the most powerful scenes I've seen this decade. Like, god damn, man. Like, this is so cool. And again, you do have some very good directors here as well. Like, for example, Chloe Zhao, I feel like has been almost understated in her direction of Hamnet because, or underappreciated for her direct work in Hamnet because there's so many scenes that just rely so much on making sure the scene doesn't come off as looking too corny. And like she just managed to balance it out just just right. But again, with Ryan Coogler, he just excels so hard with Sinners, and again, bringing that kind of like big budget blockbuster energy into prestige filmmaking. And I'm not saying that's always my pick of a director. Like obviously, there's other instances of directors doing different things that make me go, oh wow. But I mean, given the lineup, and even without this lineup, even if I had my own crop of nominees, Ryan Coogler would be my pick as well. If only Jafar Panahi and Park Chan Wook were here, but still.
Yeah, I might have to consider voting for one of them too if they were here. This lineup though, like if I just look at who's here and not worried about who's not here, this is I really can't complain too much. Everybody here, made a really great film.
I think this probably aligns like maybe 2 out of 5 with my lineup, but still, pretty decent crop of nomin. Then we get to original screenplay. We have Blue Moon, It Was Just an Accident, Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. The fact that Blue Moon got in here with 0 precursors whatsoever, is shocking. Jesus.
Speaks to Sony Pictures classics, I think.
Yeah, I mean, good God. But also kind of baffling that The Secret Agent got BAFTA, but not this. So that's strange. But given this crop of nominees, who's your pick for best original screenplay?
Oh man, I mean, I think that a lot of these would be worthy winners. Not necessarily Blue Moon. It has a good script, but it's not a winner. I would consider Sentimental Value because I think that's pretty brilliantly written. I would very much consider Sinners because that is just a wonderful original creation that just now lives among the zeitgeist of American films, and that's just an amazing thing that Ryan Coogler has created. But if I'm between Sinners and It Was Just an Accident, I'll go with It Was Just an Accident out of spite for the snubs. And also, I absolutely love that film. I want to give Jafar Panahi something. It's a brilliant movie, and the writing is certainly the dialogue is certainly a reason for that. Yeah. I love how the comedy in the first half kind of alleviates these darker undertones, and then those darker tones really come to light in the last 20 minutes. Very haunting movie, and give Panahi an Oscar. Wish that was happening.
Yeah, I like amongst this crop of nominees, It Was Just an Accident is definitely up there for me, but if I gotta go with my heart, I still gotta go with Sinners, because it's just it's not even just the original idea of it all. It's there's so many good exchanges of dialogue. I feel like that's also a bit of an underrated thing about Sinners' screenplays. Yeah, the ideas are great, but God, there's some good lines. There, especially the whole thing about where he's negotiating with the girl, trying to get her to negotiate more money, and just so many bits and pieces of back and forth between people. And oh my God, probably the best written scene in the film, the "why can't you come in here" scene, where Cornbread's trying to come in, and they're just wait, why do you need permission to do this? It's oh my God, I've never, the way it plays with vampire lore, it does things where because there's some parts of vampire lore that I think are kind of silly and dumb. This made it smart. It actually put a really intelligent twist on that whole thing, and in some ways kind of makes you think, you could see why they would want to be vampires, or why some people would want to be vampires in this situation. I love that. And
I would do it.
Yeah. Again, I would not complain if It Was Just an Accident won, even though literally no non-Best Picture nominee has won a screenplay Oscar ever since the expanded era. But Sinners, that's gotta be my vote. I mean, again, all facets of the film are just so incredible. But but that's not to say I would vote for it in every category. It might be a little bit top heavy from here. But yeah. Now we get to Best Adapted Screenplay. We have Bugonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, and Train Dreams. All right, this looks quite a bit different from my lineup, at least. I mean, maybe not quite, but I guess it'll go 3. I guess it probably does go 3 out of 5. But sadly, the best adapted screenplay of the year isn't even nominated here, and that's No Other Choice. Like,
That's right.
oh my god, I was so sure of No Other Choice this beginning of the season. I was so sure that it was going to be a thing because I was like, I mean, look, guys, it got Critics' Choice screenplay as an international film, and it got Golden Globe for Best Picture. Like, it can't, like, surely it can't go nowhere. And ultimately, it was goose egged, and I'm upset now. But given this lineup, what would your adapted screenplay winner be?
I mean, I do love, obviously, like One Battle After Another is my favorite in this category. I don't have to think that hard about that part. If there's a movie that I would consider giving it, giving it a bone just to kind of deviate from One Battle, it would probably be Begonia, because
Ooh.
I think the dialogue's like pretty brilliant in that movie and the characters are really like well fleshed out. Um, hmm. And One Battle After Another, I mean, on the page, I feel like it is a movie that relied a lot on, improvisation and like developing the story over time, whereas Begonia seems like it's kind of fire on the page. Of course, with the performances lifting it up. But I guess I would vote for One Battle After Another, because even just leaving room in your screenplay, like, that's the director's vision for his work to evolve and adapt. And I think that's still part of writing in a way. So sure.
And this is adapted screenplay.
Ah,
Yeah,
there you
exactly.
go.
Yeah. Uh, Begonia does tempt me, which is funny because like I thought The Favorite was fine. I thought it was fine. I didn't love it, and I didn't like Poor Things. So the fact that I loved Begonia as much as it was, like, actually shocked a lot of people. It's like, you liked Begonia that much? And I was like, I don't know what it was. I think it's also because it also kind of speaks to our times about like conspiracy theorists and what drives them to believe such insane things. But this is probably going to seem way out of left field. I can't wait to see your reaction to this. My pick for adapted screenplay amongst this lineup is actually Frankenstein. I did.
Wow.
I genuinely did not think it was going to be like that. I was thinking, I'm probably going to go with Hamnet, but the more I thought about Hamnet, it's like, it's by no means badly written. It's a very, very good screenplay. But the more I thought about it, it's like, maybe it is like the directing that stands out more, like why it works so much more. Whereas with Frankenstein, I was kind of like reading through some of its screenplay because especially now, like a lot of the screenplays will like come out and people will like read them and whatnot. And I do kind of scroll through some of these because I think it's really interesting. And the way Frankenstein tells its story, again, like not just as it's adapting classic literature, but the way it like tells the story. Because I've always said this, and this is something I defended when it came to me predicting the zone of interest for adapted screenplay over Killers of the Flower Moon after BAFTA. It's not always about the dialogue, but it's also about how it tells its story through the way it describes what's happening or what's supposed to happen on the screen. And Frankenstein does that so well. And even then, it has some beautiful lines, especially around the end where he's like, where he's like, maybe perhaps we can both become human. And it's just like, oh my god, it's just so good. It plays out like a classic fantasy film that's also kind of horror, but it's also just everything I just love. Again, everything I love about movies. And it's such a unique take on Frankenstein that feels fresh and new. I can't believe I'm saying that it would be my pick of this lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I would defend Frankenstein like on that level, and I agree that it had a lot of dialogue that was like keeping me interested in the story. So yeah,
And, yeah, and
can't
special
forget
shout out
you.
to Train Dreams because I especially love the narration. Like it plays like an old folk tale or a tall tale or something like that. And oh my god, a beautiful, beautiful film. Every time I think about Train Dreams, it gets better. But yeah, so you're going with One Battle After Another, and I'm going with Frankenstein. Two very, very different films, but hey. That's what we would do if we picked the adapted screenplay win. Then we get to lead actress. uh, Jessie Buckley for Hamnet, Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, uh, Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue, Renate Reinsve for Sentimental Value, and Emma Stone for Begonia. So this is interesting. Who are you gonna go with?
I mean, Emma Stone is absolutely perfect in it. Reinsva is an insanely good actress, and Sentimental Value absolutely proves that. Like she just has so much expressed in like each second of her face in that movie. And obviously Jessie Buckley is amazing, and that's kind of like the obvious one because she's just fucking going nuts in that movie, and it's like, but I've been in the critics groups that I'm in. I've been voting for Rose Byrne,
Ooh.
and I'll pick Rose Byrne here. I mean, that is just kind of a tour de force performance. I think the film is really good, and I've seen it twice, and I love how. I mean, obviously, it's a performance of cortisol, but there's also like some really great comedy that Rose Byrne plays too, and I like that her character is sympathetic in terms of understanding her exhaustion, but also kind of unlikable and nasty at times. I just think that I think I was really impressed with that performance, and is very unique. And she's being asked to do a whole lot in that movie.
Yeah, this is another film that people were shocked that I liked as much as I did, because like they were wondering, he's not gonna like this anxiety driven film, and I was like, no, this is very relatable. Like for especially last year, this was my day to day life. I'm like, but yeah, so like Rose Byrne, I'm definitely not gonna complain about that win. I might be boring and just say Jessie Buckley because she has to do so many difficult things with that performance. And again, just like I keep mentioning, that third act could have gone so horribly wrong and so corny, where like, this reaching out to this actor and thinking it's her son, and like that could have been so corny, but oh my god, it's played with such grace. Like, I genuinely stunned me. It is sad that some of my other picks didn't get in here, like Amanda Seyfried for The Testament of Anne Lee. I really liked her, and also, I forgot what her name is, but like I also really loved the actress's performance in The Ugly Stepsister. Very underrated performance.
Oh yeah, yeah, she's really good.
Yeah. But yeah, again, I'm not going to complain about Rose Byrne whatsoever, because she also has to do a lot of difficult things to convey both the comedy and the horror of what her character's going through. That hamster scene just makes me so sad. But yeah, lead act.
You didn't burst out laughing at the hamster?
No, I felt so sad. Like everyone thought.
Oh, it was funny though, in a way, in a dark way.
Like, here's the thing, like, it still works for me, but just on a different level, because, like, I wasn't laughing so much as I was being horrified. Like, oh no, this is the worst case scenario, So it's like, if I had, like, Zakiku, it's probably, like, one of the best horror movies of the year in that regard. So
I think you probably feel like that hamster, maybe that's why you felt horrified by it, because you identified with the hamster.
No, I don't want to be a hamster. No! Lead actor. Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme. Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another. Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon. Michael B. Jordan for Sinners. And Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent. Who are you going for? Although I might have an idea as to who you might go for, given you love the film so much. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm stupid.
Well, I do think Wagner Moura is amazing in The Secret Agent. And I love how understated his performance is, and it really sticks with you by the end of the film. And I don't know if he. I mean, there's so many people in this category who I could maybe go for. Ethan Hawke is amazing, and if he was winning the Oscar, I couldn't really complain. I love Timothée Chalamet and Marty Supreme though, and I think that's a deserved win. I want it to happen very much. Then we can stop. We don't have to like have him be in watching Oscar limbo forever. I don't really want to see any future campaigns of Timothée Chalamet like really wanting an Oscar that badly. So I think that maybe, for our sake as a society, we should just give it to him for this film. But he also, he gave a great performance. He created such a memorable, clever little shit of a character who is so compelling to watch, just as much as he is unlikable. And, he really captures the film's central ideas about like just being a destructive youth. And I don't know, he's just a joy to watch. He just absolutely lights up the screen. So I would vote for Timothy Chalamet.
This is probably the first time I agree with you here. I would also go with Timothy Chalamet here. Like he really does fire on all cylinders here, and I really just love like his energy and like the complex emotions he's playing in as the character. Uh, and granted, I also love Wagner more in The Secret Agent as well. In fact, he might actually be the only other nominee I would go for here. I'm not as hot on Ethan Hawke. I thought he was very hammy in Blue Moon. He's like, I love love, you know. Like I could literally. I'm not gonna lie. The movie got so repetitive. I started predicting everything that was about to happen. It's like, yep, 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 yep. I was just like, But yeah, like Timothy Chalamet again, so in many ways, like Rose Byrne, he's doing a lot with the performance, and like in such big ways and in such subtle ways, especially at the end, like the very end of the film. It's like, oh god damn, like there's so many ways you could read into that. So I do really like Timothy Chalamet in this film.
Yeah, I'm pretty obsessed with the last shot of that movie and just how it just completely breaks him and he can't even control himself. It gets me every time.
Yeah, it really does. Now we get into Best Supporting Actress. We have Elle Fanning for Sentimental Value, Inga Ibsdottir Lilius for Sentimental Value, Amy Madigan for not Sentimental Value but Weapons, Wunmi Masaku for Sinners, and Tiana Taylor for One Battle After Another. I think for my vote, I would like. It's tough because I really do like Wunmi Masaku in Sinners, and to be honest, I think her performance has been very much underestimated, and the fact that she won the BAFTA makes me really excited. So there is that. And I'm really glad Elle Fanning managed to get in, because I always thought I was always wondering, why are people like just dismissing her performance? It's like she was one of the best parts of that film. But for me, the supporting performance here that just like threw me for such a loop. I was like, whoa, what the hell is Amy Madigan for Weapons? I mean, my god, like this is like the definition of like a supporting performance we just don't really see the likes of that much anymore, or at least not like one that's just become so iconic. I mean, her character is like both really scary, really flashy, really funny, especially around the end. I mean, this is just like this is it's a performance that was so good I didn't predict it to happen, because I was like, there's no way the Oscars are gonna be this cool, like no way, and then they were.
Yeah. Amy Madigan, like I didn't even know who that was before I watched the movie.
Same.
And I came out and I was like, what that was like an insane performance. And I can't believe that she came all this way. I did start predicting her after like about a week of
Oh
thinking about the film. I was like, actually like that does make sense to me in a weird way. But yeah, I mean, and then for her to be like the critics leader, it's one of those performances that like every once in a while I'll just like go watch a clip of it like to amuse myself, because that character is just so memorable and terrifying. And I'm very close to voting for her. I would probably go with Inga Ibsdottir Lilius though,
ooh.
just by a horse's hair, really a horse's hair. And I love Elle Fanning in the film too, but I think that the two like most emotional scenes in the film really belong to her. And there's just something about every time the camera cuts to her, you're just understanding like the depth of, I guess, everything she's feeling like for her sister. And I think she plays it off so smoothly and subtly. But yeah, I don't know. Just every time the camera cuts to her, it's like, holy shit. Like I'm feeling exactly what I'm supposed to and more.
So yeah, you're going with Inga Ibsdottir Lilius, and I'm going with Amy Madigan. Once again, another generational divide, even though we're probably like not that far off from each other's age, probably. But yeah, so yeah. Then we get to Best Supporting Actor. All right, and the nominees are Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein, Delroy Lindo for Sinners, Sean Penn for One Battle After Another, and Stellan Skarsgård for sentimental value. This is interesting because I think this only aligned like 1 out of 5 with my personal predictions. Like sadly, my pick here isn't on this list. Like, and even though I didn't like the film all that much, I was so captivated by Adam Sandler and Jay Kelly. Like, his performance I thought was like so layered. It was so impressive. It was so good that I was kind of wondering, why is he not the main character of the movie? But yeah, sadly he kind of died after the movie. No one cared about it, but still. So yeah, who are you going for in this category?
Well, I actually would consider Delroy Lindo. He's
Hmm.
close for me because, in terms of somebody who just made the most out of his screen time, like he's got a couple scenes that are just so like lived in and layered, and they add so much to the story. And another actor in that place would not have been able to bring that much out. He's just incredibly talented. So he would be my runner up. And I think I would probably predict, well, I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, damn, that'd be kind of cool if he won. Ha! All right, I'll change my mind. I was going to go Stellan Skarsgård because I love that performance. Yeah, Stellan Skarsgård is just so good as like a emotionally detached father, and he somehow makes you sympathize with him, against all odds. But I think what I was saying, best supporting performance. I mean, Delroy Lindo, like in the couple scenes that he's in. I mean, in the second half, I feel like he doesn't get to do that much substantial, but he really added just so much depth to that. And again, I don't think you could have gotten a more perfect actor to do that. So I'll go with Delroy Lindo. It'd be hilarious if he won.
Oh my god. I mean, I certainly wouldn't complain. Like it took me a while to really like. Obviously, I thought he was always good, but I didn't quite understand like what all the buzz was about his performance. But then, like on the third watch, I was like, "Oh wait, okay, yeah." Now I'm starting to really see what people are talking about. Like again, he doesn't have a lot of like moments, but he always is kind of there, adding something great to the scene, and that is something a great supporting actor does. Uh, and my pick, funny enough, is going to be another horror performance, Jacob Elordi, because that's such a character that I feel like needs to be weaved around so hard. And there's so much going on with him, like the fact that he's like known as like this, this heartthrob and whatnot, and he has to play this very complex character who is very like primal at first and then becomes very well spoken and very intelligent. Jacob Elordi really showed me like that he has a lot of range as an actor. And I always do love a very visual performance, but it's also a performance that does rely a lot on, making sure the dialogue is sounding very good. And I thought Jacob Elordi did that very well.
Yeah, Jacob Elordi's great in Frankenstein. I came away from that very surprised and impressed with what he did there, and then also surprised again that like, oh, like they actually are going for like this type of performance. And I was glad to see that he like got nominated and he's getting a lot of attention.
Yeah, and the way he won Critics' Choice, I was like, oh my god, wow, that was
That
crazy.
was insane.
Then we get to casting, the new Oscar category. We have Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, and Sinner. This is interesting. Again, we have no real precedent for this. Who are you going for in casting?
This is tough because you have like the more obvious ensembles here, like One Battle and Sinners, and I don't have a bad thing to say about like anybody in those casts, and there's so many great roles that they're filling. But let's follow up the Best Picture winner here, and go with
Ooh.
The Secret Agent because that movie has just a sprawling cast, and both times I watched it, I was like, every single person who comes in and out of the frame in this movie is just perfect. Like there's just so many really good performances scattered all throughout the movie. And you can look into the stories behind the casting. Like they cast a combination of well-known actors and non-actors, and I think it all just comes together really brilliantly. Like it's really a huge ensemble of memorable faces in that film. And I think it was really, really cool that the Oscars, the branch decided to acknowledge it. I did hear from somebody that that branch was interested in, looking into international films and making sure that they, you know, were giving consideration to those films. And they've definitely done that with Secret Agent. I think that we have to look out for them doing the same in years to come.
Yeah, especially it helps now that Secret Agent is in Best Picture. So, yeah. I was originally going to go with Sinners, but then I started thinking about what casting and casting decisions impressed me the most. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I might go for him because, one, casting child actors, oh god, you have to make sure you get them just right, because it's not really the fault of the child actors, it's usually the fault of other factors. But casting kids can go wrong in so many different ways. But not only that, Jacoby Jupe was like, his performance in that movie haunted me. Like, it was like young Elijah Wood like levels of acting, the way he would act with his eyes. Like, I was like, there's so much going on inside this kid's mind when he's making these decisions. It's incredible. But also the idea of casting his older brother Noah as Hamlet. Oh my god, like, it's so brilliant, and the way all of that just kind of comes in together. I like that's the casting that, at least amongst this lineup, and maybe overall, I have to think about that really really stood out to me.
Yeah, that's a great reason to vote for Hamnet, honestly. And Jacoby Jupe, that was like one of the best kid performances that I've seen this year. And a lot of times kids are directed to just be kind of like blank faced, and the audience can like interpret what that blank, they're just absorbing everything. And it's kind of like a boring way for kids to be on screen. And kids are rarely kind of alive and feeling realistic in films. And even in the movie Josephine at Sundance, I would say that that film was, even though that was a very good performance, and this is a performance that's getting like a lot of praise from critics and saying it's one of the best child performances in years. I felt that it leaned more towards like the kind of directing of the performances that I don't so much like. Whereas no one's seen the movie Omaha, but like the way that the kids in that film were directed, or in the Florida Project, and they actually feel like children, and they feel like they have thoughts of their own, and they're not just like, why is this happening, mommy? Yeah, Jacoby Jupe was amazing in that. I don't know how he did it. When you get a good child performance, it actually feels like magic is happening, because I don't know what's going on with these children.
Yeah, yeah. Again, it's always in the eyes, like the way he's just constantly making like, I could literally see the gears turning in the actor's head. I was like, oh my god, like, he's gonna be a generational talent, like, believe you me. And again, the Secret
Yeah,
Agent.
that's an adult.
Yeah, no, honestly, again, I have not seen a child actor like that since Elijah Wood when he was younger. Because again, the eyes. I always look at the eyes when it comes to the actors. It's always the eyes that really like captivate me. And the Secret Agent,
Yeah, like
again,
the Sixth Sense.
yeah. And the Secret Agent is a very good pick as well. I can't possibly complain about that. A lot of what comes to mind for me are, like, again, yeah, like you said, the names of, like, the lack of big names in the film. It's like, oh wow, I never even heard of these people. But also, again, some of the casting decisions, a little bit of spoilers for Secret Agent, but casting Wagner Moura as the main character and his adult son is really clever. And the way they feel like two very different people. I thought
That's a brilliant moves on Wagner Moura's part.
more so like just his demeanor, like he just acted very different. So
Yes, body language too, for sure.
yeah, definitely. So yeah, again, I thought I was going to go with Sinners, but I think it might have the best ensemble of the year. For me, it's like Hamnet really did impress me with its casting decisions. So yeah. Then we get to Best Animated Feature. Arco, Elio, K-pop Demon Hunters, Little Amelie are the character of Rain, and Zootopia 2. Sadly, the only film I was not able to see yet is Arco. I want to see Arco, but it's just not anywhere. I can't see it. So yeah, I want to hear your thoughts first, even though I might have an idea of who you might be going with.
Yeah, so I haven't seen Zootopia 2 or Elio. It's a little insane, I guess, that I haven't seen Zootopia 2, but it is what it is. K-pop, I think is perfectly good, like pop entertainment. It's not like my thing. Arco, I think, is a little overrated.
Ooh.
So look, Little Amelie, I thought was really excellent. I thought that was easily the best animated movie that I've seen out of those. And I just think that the creativity in the sound design and the score and like the heightened visuals and capturing this child's inner experience, I thought it was like a really layered and beautiful movie. So that's just easily my pick here.
I really love Little Amelie too, and that'd probably be my second pick here. Zootopia 2, it's fine, but I also didn't love the first Zootopia. It's like it's fine, but for me, I don't know what it is with Disney. They've just not really been grabbing me since Turning Red. And even though it's kind of funny because I actually did really like Elio, which just shocked me because I was for sure I was going to hate this movie. The trailers did not do the movie any justice. I was like, no way. But then when I saw it, I was like, wait, this is actually really funny and clever and charming. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I do really love Little Amelie because it's also such a really unique idea that again could have gone wrong, but was done so beautifully well. But I'm gonna be boring. Look, I'm sorry, I gotta go with Huntrix on this one. K-pop Demon Hunters. Something about Sony Animation really does it for me these days. It's like they're doing so much and doing so many like new things with animation, and the way it weaves the music in with the story. Like I'm also a big musical guy, and so seeing all these different songs and hearing the score and having it paired up with that kind of animation, oh my god, it's like up there with like some of the best animated films I've seen this decade. And I'm kind of surprised it's come this far. I thought it would be the Lego movie. I thought it would be what was it? Like Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. I was like, okay, the Oscars aren't going to be cool enough to nominate a movie called K-pop Demon Hunters because I was literally seeing from people that they weren't going to watch it because of how stupid the title looked. But and now it's like unequivocally the front runner. Like not even Arco or Little Amelie has become number 2 at this point.
If it didn't become like the most watched movie of the year, it probably would have succumbed to that fate of like not even being nominated. It just became like a crazy phenomenon, which was pretty cool to watch.
Yeah. And again, like I said, Little Amelie is great as well. Again, really emotional film. So yeah, it's just it's so. And again, I wish I could have seen Arco because I really wanted to see Arco, but yeah, in a weak year for animated films, and this year was very weak in my opinion. Again, I wouldn't even nominate Zootopia 2, but like there were some very good gems here. There were some very slim gems in here. Then we get to Best International Feature. It was just an accident. Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Surat, and The Voice of Hind Rajab. And I'm upset because the Best International Feature of the year, No Other Choice, is not in here. They couldn't even throw it that bone. I'm so like I was so pissed when that happened. I was like, oh my god. Like, really, are we doing this? Like, ugh. I usually what happens is like with the international films is like, they don't start off very strong and they just gain momentum because that's usually how international films happen at the Oscars. Here it's just the reverse. It's like it started off strong and then nothing. Life.
Yeah, I don't understand how that went all the way down to 0 after actually getting like nominated for Best Picture of the Globes. And I don't, and it also was, some people don't really, it was the highest grossing of Neon's international films this year. Like it actually was doing really well at the box office, much better than even Sentimental Value. I don't understand why, like, when it comes to the Academy, like they just aren't paying attention or like it just doesn't catch on. It's very confusing to me. I don't know. I guess I'd vote for Secret Agent here, though.
Oh yeah, that does make sense. It's your favorite film of the lineup of Best Picture, so you would vote for it here. Honestly, this is a very solid lineup, and I hate saying this, but for me, the weakest film here, even though I think it's good, is Sentimental Value. So that would not really be much of a consideration for me. Honestly, if I could, I would swap that out with No Other Choice. But obviously that would never happen. And it didn't happen. So amongst this lineup, I would actually go for It Was Just an Accident. It's such a tightrope walking kind of directed film. Like even just looking at it and seeing how they're filming some of this, it's like, okay, now I see why this was like incredibly hard to film, because that like there's whole scenes where they're just filming in a car, even though in most movies they would be able to film outside the car, but they can't because they don't want to get seen. And all this intrigue going on in the dialogue of it all and the performances, like this is just like such outstanding work by Jafar Panahi. So I really loved It Was Just an Accident, and amongst this lineup, it would be my pick to win. And again, I'm upset that it didn't make Best Picture, but
Yeah, it would definitely be my runner up here. And you made a good point, because Panahi is just so good at taking the limitations that he's dealt and turning them into like strengths of his films.
yeah.
And it is something that is evident in this movie as much as it is like the others that I've seen from him. I'm giving it screenplay, so I don't have to give it another word here, but I love that movie a lot. So
Oh yeah. And Surat, I liked Surat a lot. I was kind of wondering where is this going? But then when, obviously when shit hits the fan, it's like, oh God, that's when it really started hooking me. And we'll talk about Surat here later on in a bit. But yeah, and then the voice of Hind Rajab, again, like, would I prefer to see No Other Choice here? Sure, but the voice of Hind Rajab did, when I finally saw it, that did also make my top 10 of the year. Just, oh my God, like again, the creativity of the directing in that film and the writing is just so good. The way it just tells a true story in such a unique way. And again, all I need to say is even the phone scene. The phone scene, like, oh God, that is good. But yeah, can't complain about that. So yeah.
yeah, Sarat and Hind Rajab are also, this is a really really good lineup. I think I think all these movies are great.
Documentary, Alabama Solution, Come See Me in the Good Light, Cutting Through Rocks, Mr. Nobody Against Putin, and The Perfect Neighbor. The only film I have not seen here is Cutting Through Rocks. That's the only film I've not been able to see. Everything else I have seen. And this is actually the first time where I actually went out of my way to watch all the documentary nominees, or at least tried to watch all the documentary nominees. So I'm feeling pretty good about this lineup. It's like, yeah, so far can't really complain about what's in here. They're all very good movies. For me, I'd probably go with The Perfect Neighbor. It's such a gripping film that had me on the edge of my seat from moment one. And it's just like, and it never let me go. And not only that, but the film also just does such an effective job with its editing, which I'm sad that it didn't get an editing nomination, even though I knew that would never happen in a million years at the Oscar. But The Perfect Neighbor just really did a lot for me. It's one of those films where, like, by the time it ended, I was sad that it ended, because I was like, oh man, that's it, but not in a sense where I didn't feel satisfied with the information it was giving me. But it's a good kind of, oh man, it's like, because by the time like once the interview took place, or the end of that interview where they take her away in that room, it's just that one static shot throughout the entire thing. I was convinced I was at the halfway point. And then, but it's like, wait, no, this is the end? This is how it ends? What? And it's just like, oh God, such a gripping film. Where would you go with in Best Documentary?
So I'm a bad boy here. I've only seen The Perfect Neighbor.
Oh.
I really liked The Perfect Neighbor. It was gripping and incredibly distressing. And I came away thinking, man, do I not like that lady?
Yeah.
But I haven't seen anything else, so I would have to abstain from voting here. Wouldn't be fair to vote for it, even though it could definitely. If I saw all these, maybe it would be number one for me.
So I totally get that. But yeah, for me, it's definitely The Perfect Neighbor, and it's really the one that really, again, very good ones. Like The Alabama Solution really, is really informative in the abuses in the Alabama prison system. Come See Me in the Good Light, very tragic story to see that unfold about how this person, got cancer. And Mr. Nobody Against Putin, which won the BAFTA, which makes me really wonder if that could actually win. I could actually see why it might end up being the front runner, because, it is a very like entertaining documentary from just a again from a Mr. Nobody, like a guy that's not trying to be like this or someone who's just like kind of caught in the middle of what's going on and just kind of seeing it through his eyes, and it does kind of mirror what's going on in our country a lot as well, given how fascism is slowly rising here in the US as well, and it's looking a lot like how it was happening over there in Russia as well. So I would, yeah, but amongst these nominees, I would probably pick The Perfect Neighbor, but Cole abstain. Then we get to Best Cinematography. Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners, Train Dreams. Very solid lineup. I would probably do a few things differently. No Other Choice not being here again, but still. This is interesting. Where are you gonna go with cinematography here?
Well, Train Dreams is, obviously like an incredibly beautiful film, and I love like the compositions and framing. It is, a little like, I guess, derivative of, or maybe not in derivative, but it's obviously kind of inspired by other, like Terrence Malick and films like that. So maybe I wouldn't give it the win. I would maybe go with One Battle After Another here, because I think every shot in that is just really intentional. It's got Paul Thomas Anderson's signature, like beautiful close-ups everywhere. And, of course, the icing on the cake really is the rolling hills sequence and how that was shot, because that's actually something that I feel like I haven't seen in a movie. Yeah, I mean, it's got everything from, well, I think it captures locations beautifully, has some amazing tracking shots. So I think One Battle After Another is just a great looking movie all around.
Oh, yeah. Sadly, the cinematography in One Battle After Another didn't impress me that much. The Rolling Hills scene was like, okay, this is cool. I didn't get a whole lot from the cinematography from my perspective. I did really love Train Dreams and the way that looked and how everything was just so meticulously placed down and just like, especially that one scene where like they're cutting the log. It's like, oh my God. But for me, there's also some other good picks here. Like Frankenstein has that big classic gothic feel to it. The sweeping shots, love that. But I might go for Sinners here. I mean, the colors just pop off the screen. You got the IMAX going on. I mean, like such big, deep shadows in the film. And yet it doesn't feel murky. It feels like you can navigate everything just perfectly well. It's just like, oh, and then there's that one tracking shot, which that's not in of itself like the only reason why the film has such good cinematography, but it's the way everything's just framed and the way it plays with the focus of the film, and like the way it, like for example when when Wunmi Masaku's character is like approaching Smoke at her house or her shop, the way the focus just kind of just really just goes in on her, and the background just blurs out. It's just like, oh my God. And then obviously there's that one shot where Smoke and Stack are looking at the sunset. It's like, oh God, so beautiful.
Yeah, I would not complain if Sinners won here at all.
It is tough though, because like now everyone's doing something different. I don't even know. Like right now, I'll probably predict One Battle After Another, but like, we'll have. I'm not exactly sure what. Again, ASC maybe, but I don't know. BAFTA's pretty good at predicting that though.
Yeah, ASC, if they went with Sinners, that would definitely make it a race. So
Yeah. Then we get to film editing. F1, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. Not my ideal editing lineup, even though there's probably actually, well, it is 3 out of 5. I guess maybe this year wasn't so strong for editing for me. Again, sadly, the best editing of the year, No Other Choice, is not even in here, so I have to be upset over that again. But yeah, this is interesting. Where do you go within film editing?
I'm definitely going for One Battle After Another here. That was it's one of the breeziest films that I've ever seen that's over 2.5 hours. And every time I watch the movie, which is 3 times, I'm just really, really impressed with how it moves from scene to scene and how tight of an edit it is and how it sustains your attention the whole time. I just think it's like a really, really tight, perfect edit. So I got to go with One Battle here.
Yeah, again, it makes sense. If one battle after another is your thing, it's like the editing is definitely going to stand out a lot more. Uh, even like, but yeah, again, like, but I'm trying to think. Marty Supreme is also not badly edited either. In fact, I'm actually trying to see what I would, because it is a little bit tough between a couple of films, even though neither are my overall pick. Sinners does have some very good editing, the way it kind of flashes back and to certain things, and also the way the film like intercuts, like for example the pale pale moon scene, the way that's edited with the music is really fun. I know it's weird for me to say this, but it's a little bit tough between Marty Supreme and F1. I know, like F1, like it's just kind of like F1, but it's also just like like it really did impress me, like with how like tight the editing was in the film, and like with how the race sequences were going. But also, Marty Supreme is also just a gut punch of editing with how every scene goes. But I think in a world where like my top picks didn't get in, I might actually have to go with F1. Like it is very energized editing, and the way it like cuts back and forth between the car and the people on the microphones and whatnot. Like I was really impressed by it, but yeah, that might be a hot take amongst Oscar Twitter.
I mean, F1's really impressive on on a large scale. The amount of coverage that they did for the racing, and then having to maintain continuity when the cars are, not in the same place at any given second. It's very impressive. My runner up though, and I want to shout out Sentimental Value, because if you're an editor, a lot of what you do is you're going through different takes of actors, and you're looking through reaction shots, and you are looking for the right information conveyed in those reaction shots, and like when to place it that will give the audience something. And I mean, there's maybe no better film this year that like demonstrates that than Sentimental Value. I mean, when I watched that film again, I feel like watching movies twice, like the second time is really good for picking up on like the editing choices. And I just noticed every time they're cutting to like another actor in the scene or a reaction shot, it's full of information, speaks to the performances being great, but also the editor for highlighting those performances.
I do see that. At least the one bit of editing that also really stood out to me in Sentimental Value was that one scene where like they're kind of, like where it's like the light thing with the actors and whatnot. I mean, granted that's a little bit more obvious editing, but yeah, I definitely see that with Sentimental Value. Then we get to production design. We have Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. Yeah, this is one where it is kind of tricky because, once again, my number one pick didn't get on here, and you're going to be shocked to hear what it is.
Lay it on me.
Fantastic Four First Steps.
Okay, I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I heard that it has really impressive set design, so I guess that makes sense.
Like, it's almost kind of like a modern Jetsons, the way it's almost like a period piece and a sci-fi film. That's really cool. But that's not here. But it is impressive to see how close it got. Like, it did get BAFTA longlisted, and it did get into the Critics' Choice nominations. That was cool. But without that, for me, it's the very obvious answer, and it's got to be Frankenstein. It's a boring pick, I know, but oh my god, Frankenstein. It's part of it's part of the reason why I love the film so much. Like, it has such gigantic sets that look so good. Like, there's so much detail in there. And again, it's taking something that, we're all kind of familiar with Frankenstein and whatnot, but, it's also just making it feel like something new, just something completely new and lavish. So even though my production design lineup might look quite a bit different, Frankenstein definitely stood out to me. What about you? What are your thoughts on the production design category this year?
Yeah, Frankenstein. I mean, that's like the most insane, obvious sets, and I might even vote for it. I mean,
Mm.
in the beginning where they're like keeping him in chains, like that room is just bizarre. I don't even know what to say about that location, but it was just, I don't know. I was just kind of dazzled through the entire film. Marty Supreme, worth considering. I feel like if I learned more about that film and how they created these like tight, New York spaces, I would be, maybe even more impressed with it. And One Battle, I'm really, really glad is here, because that Benicio's apartment, I'm really impressed with in how lived in it feels. I guess I'll go with Frankenstein though. I mean, how can you deny?
Yeah, it definitely is like one of the most. It's definitely like one of the most like big production designs of the year. Costume design. We have Avatar: Fire and Ash, probably the single most shocking nomination of the bunch. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, Sinners. Even like given how mid Wicked for Good was, not even costume design couldn't even get that or makeup. That's like absurd to me. But still, even that wouldn't quite be my pick. But yeah, I might be boring again and probably say Frankenstein, because Frankenstein, again, the big lavish costumes, really colorful, really insane to look at. Love what's going on in Frankenstein. But also a big shout out to a couple films. Hamnet, I really liked how like the colors would like bright up and mute down depending on what was going on in terms of the tone of the film. And Ruth E. Carter is obviously like one of the best in the business with Sinners. I mean, oh my god. But where would you go with costume design?
Well, Frankenstein's insane because they actually like imbued, patterns and symbols into the clothing that like you wouldn't even notice almost as an audience member, but that kind of work is just insane. And I would maybe vote for that, but the work in Sinners really does stand out. And maybe I'm just thinking of the I Lied to You scene, but I mean, look, maybe that scene alone, like I could just give it the win off of that because that was just incredible. And I mean, it's incredible on a lot of levels, but you had to design costumes that represent hundreds, centuries of musical movements. So I don't know. I would maybe vote for Sinners just because of that. And I mean, not that the rest of the movie doesn't have anything to it, but that gives it the edge to me.
Oh yeah, I definitely see that. It's not for me. It's not even just that. Like I especially really love the like the way Smoke and Stack are color coordinated. Like one's blue, one's red. It's a classic kind of like foreshadowing, but it's the kind of classic foreshadowing I really love, and that just kind of reflects their personalities.
Even as like kids movie as it is to have characters be like color coordinated, it works really well. And even Hamnet has this like Jesse Buckley wears the same burnt orange color in every scene, and Paul Mescal wears blue. And like even in Frankenstein, like in the video that I watched, they were talking about how like certain characters wear certain colors, and we stick to those colors. And I don't know, it's effective, like for the audience, and it can communicate something like subconsciously to them. So it's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I wish more. I hate. Yeah, I know it's weird to say that. I wish more movies would kind of do that. Like, I like the kind of language in the color of the costume. But yeah.
Yeah, I will say if there's one movie that I would throw in here and vote for, it would be The Secret Agent.
Oh.
And also for production design, because I'm so impressed with just how that film feels so alive as a period movie and how vibrant and bright and saturated and lived in the city of Recife is, and how significant it is that they put in the effort to get that level of detail and um, vibrancy to the design of the whole period. So wish that was here. Wish that got a little more consideration, but at least it's in Best Picture. So
Yeah. And my special shout out would probably be like Fantastic Four First Steps. Again, classic period piece slash sci-fi costume. Really love that. So yeah. And again, also, I guess I have to shout out Wicked because God, how? But yeah.
I don't even understand
Yeah, that's
that.
again,
That's insane.
speaking of absurd snubs, we have makeup and hairstyling, where we have Frankenstein, Kokuho, Sinners, The Smashing Machine, and The Ugly Stepsister. How Wicked didn't get in for the Tin Man alone is like, what? That makes me think there
Yeah.
had to have been something coordinated to get that not nominated. Because like that, the makeup bridge is like that's the category where they will throw movies like that a bone.
They didn't like the Ryan Reynolds scarecrow. It counteracted the everything that was done with the Tin Man.
That wasn't that. I didn't think it was that bad. It was cool, but I don't know.
I actually was really impressed with the Tin Man because I thought watching it that they must have done like CGI to like animate his eyebrows and stuff, but they didn't.
Yeah,
And
no.
it just is that the makeup is doing its work.
Yeah, they did use visual effects for like I think his legs though, cause like, yeah, because they were really thin. But Who's your vote for makeup and hairstyling?
The Ugly Stepsister is an interesting one,
Mm,
and I could go for that. But I do remember like a couple parts where they chopped off body parts that looked like a little bit plastic to me. So no spoilers. I guess I'll go. You know, Frankenstein. There were parts of it where I thought maybe Jacob Elordi looked like a little too kind of smooth faced.
yeah.
But I mean, I can't deny how impressive that work was, and I'll go with Frankenstein. I'm
Yeah.
no expert.
Like, I don't mind Frankenstein winning, but I do agree there were some parts where he felt a little bit smooth, which might actually come as a surprise to what I will put my vote for in makeup. The Smashing Machine. I thought this movie was good. I didn't love it, but especially with the text that never matters with me, I'm fully willing to give a movie that sucks like a tech category. Like I would have given Coming to America best makeup, but the Smashing Machine, like what puts me over the edge is like the way it looks so flawless, and like you both know that it is Dwayne Johnson, but it looks just enough not like him to be like, what the? But also, I heard Dwayne Johnson talk about this, where he was talking with Brendan Fraser, one of those actors on actors things, and he talked about how there were like 20 some odd pieces for the makeup, but Kazuhiro had to specifically design them in a way where they could not only like survive the heat and sweat of the ring, but also take a beating without, breaking, or if they did break, they could be easily repaired like that. That's insane. I love that ingenuity with the makeup. So Smashing Machine would actually get my vote for makeup.
Kazuhiro is going to be back in this category next year.
Oh wait, what's he doing?
He's doing Digger. He's doing Tom Cruise's
Ah,
face.
yeah.
So you got to watch out. They said, how do we get Tom Cruise an Oscar? You bring Kazuhiro in.
Kazuhiro is the next Rick Baker. Like he should have more Oscars than he currently has. But yeah. Then we have visual effects. The category I'm very much definitely into. We have Avatar Fire and Ash, F1, Jurassic World Rebirth, The Lost Bus, and Sinners. Overall, very solid category. Even though I love Sinners, I don't need that in visual effects. It's like that's the part where I was like, okay, yeah, no, like I never buy into the whole they nominated a movie for visual effects only because of they love the movie. Like even Wicked, I was like, now there's a lot of visual effects going on in Wicked, like the big like animals and they replace the dance floor. Like it's a big fantasy film. Sinners, though, I can't explain that at all, other than they, like, every branch just like, it's like a reverse Wicked for good. It's like everyone hated Wicked for good, so they just told each other, hey, don't vote for it in this category. Whereas with Sinners, it's like, put this in every category conceivable. I wish Superman was here, but still. Jurassic World Rebirth, I really did not like this movie. In fact, I was actually kind of pissed. I was like, oh my, I thought Gareth Edwards would be able to change this, and it's the same stupid movie, but I don't mind the visual, like, it actually impressed me I like the visual effects in the Jurassic World films, but this is the one where I was like, especially looking deeper into it, I was like, oh wow, okay, there's a lot more going on here, which again, just goes to show how good of a visual effects director he is. But we know who our pick would be in visual effects. I'm assuming.
I mean, I'm not an expert in this category. It may be boring to go for Avatar. I don't even like the movie very much, but you can't really deny. You just can't deny the work there. I mean, I think that I haven't seen The Lost Bus, but it seems cool. What they did in F1 is cool. I love. I would almost vote for it just because I'm so shocked at how many visual effects there were and how seamless it was. But just go with Avatar, I guess.
It's leaps ahead of literally everything else here. It's not even a contest. The Lost Bus is one that was kind of inspired because I was like, oh my god, there were some shots in that film where like either only the bus was real or not even that. Like it's like Deepwater Horizon levels of crazy. It's like, oh my god. So
yeah. And you can barely even feel that it's CGI while you're watching it.
Exactly. So upset that Superman didn't get in. The DC bias continues. Aside from Batman movies, I'm never again predicting a DC film. Fuck that. No, they hate DC. They hate that. No, but yeah,
they hate it.
Best sound we have F1, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Surratt. Very interesting sound category. Very unique sounds. Obviously, there's a lot of action going on in this specific category this year. and so yeah, it is very interesting. Where are you thinking when it comes to best sound?
I feel like a lot of these nominees are kind of just here because they like the movie. F1, I think that I wasn't actually that impressed with the sound overall. Like I thought that they really leaned on the music in the racing scenes, and the sound was kind of an afterthought. Sinners in One Battle, like I think that they sound perfectly fine. I don't know that I have anything interesting to say about them. Frankenstein, I actually really liked the sound design. I thought that it was heightening like the presence of the characters like Jacob Elordi, and that they really put a lot of effort into that, and it made the movie feel like big and grand. So I am glad that Frankenstein's nominated here actually. And Surratt, I also thought, I was like, yeah, it's kind of leaning on the score a lot, but I looking into what was done with Surratt, I am pretty impressed with it. I don't know. Maybe I'll go with Frankenstein, as weird as it is. Like that was kind of the
Oh,
movie that I actually, if I'm being honest with myself, it was the one where I walked out of and I was like really impressed with the sound. So I don't know.
I really like the sound of Frankenstein as well, especially the mixing in Jacob Elordi's voice. Like that was really
Yeah.
cool. Surprising for me to say, I might actually go for Seurat because a lot of it,
Yeah.
there is a lot of music in that movie as well, but at the same time, that there is also the sound mixing element as well, and the way like the music is mixed in with the film, as well as the juxtaposition between that and other things that happen in the movie, like is just like a gut punch of just like the fuck, and the way it all just kind of blends in together. It's just like it's a visceral sound experience that really stood out to me more than most other films this year. Even though Sinners really impressed me as well because it's also kind of blending music and action, Surratt's a lot more visceral, like, oh wow, whoa. And again, the work done in the film has just really, really impressed me.
I love the scene where they're playing with the broken speaker. I think that's fantastic. I almost gave it just based off of that.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. It's like the whole movie's literally just a sound showcase, really.
Yeah. Wish it was nominated for score though.
And speaking of score, we have Bugonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. I will say, now that it is in Best Picture, I am a little bit surprised F1 didn't get into score. I mean, I didn't predict it. I did predict this 5, but like, because I was not predicting it for a lot of categories because I was just assuming it would never get into Best Picture. But well, I mean, it did get into Best Picture, so it got editing and stuff. So yeah, but score is really interesting this year. There's, for the most part, these are some very good scores. Where are you feeling with score this year?
I mean, I feel like it goes without saying that Sinners is like insane. Obviously, Sinners is crazy, and maybe I need to vote for that. I love Begonia here. I'm a little upset about Marty Supreme not being here. I'm glad that Max Richter has a nomination, but I would have kicked that. But actually, Frankenstein, I don't like. I actually like the score for Frankenstein, but I feel like I don't need it. I love the score for One Battle. I'm gonna vote for One Battle here.
Ooh.
I love the use of percussion. I love the piano that just sounds like a cat's walking all over it. Like I like how his experimental tendencies kind of play into like the sort of janky, like clumsiness of the movie in a charming way. And it also has like these really endearing moments too. And it just helped give that movie a big, like epic feel. And it's, another great score from Johnny Greenwood, who I wish had an Oscar by now.
For me, the choice is very, very easy. There's one score in here that just made me, that just like, that is a movie score, and that is Sinners. I mean, my God, like again, it's the kind of score I love hearing in films, and I've heard some people make the argument, but he has 2 Oscars. It's like, I don't care, give him another, damn it, So like, make him the next John Williams. Like everything he does is just so good, and Sinners is so new. The way it blends in with like, the way it blends blues and rock, and also kind of like showing how rock was influenced by the blues. It's just like, oh my God. And like, once you see the building burning down and all that, and you hear that guitar like, it's like, oh, I get goosebumps every time that riff happens. I'm like, oh God. The way like whenever there's always like a threat nearby, it's like dun 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 with the guitar. It's like, oh God. Yeah, I love that about Sinners' score.
Yeah. Sinners is insane. It brings in like a million different genres across like different decades. It's just a very like you can tell that Ludwig is like a very, studied composer, and he's just very smart about like where he's borrowing from. And I mean, I could just as easily give it to Sinners. It's a classic movie score at this point.
Oh yeah, definitely. And let's get him Oscar number 4 with the Odyssey next year. Let's go. But yeah,
It could happen.
maybe. I mean, I've become such a fan of Ludwig Göransson over the years. I'm like, oh my god. Original
He's
song.
God tier.
He is. Original song. We have "Dear Me" from Diane Warren, Relentless. "Golden" from K-pop Demon Hunters. "I Lied to You" from Sinners. "Sweet Dreams of Joy" from Viva Verdi, and "Train Dreams" from Train Dreams. Not gonna lie, I would have only nominated 2 of these songs, at least in my overall lineup. I mean, the only 2 songs getting in rule annoys me because it's like, because I listened to all the shortlisted songs, most of them were so boring and bland. It's like what's the point in that rule if most of what we're gonna get is mid? But whatever. I don't mind Golden being the front runner. Although my pick would unequivocally be "I Lied to You." Not that Golden's bad by any, it's a great song, and hey, you know what? It's something new. It's an animated film getting more awards, so that's fun. But "I Lied to You," like that scene is the movie. That scene is so the movie. Like the way again this kind of goes into the whole being like the way it kind of would just play along with all those different genres. It is a little bit of the score, but I mean it is part of the song, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you here. I Lied to You is, perhaps the scene of the year. The song is great. The lyrics mean a lot to, the character, and the production is absolutely insane. I don't really like this hard distinction between like, oh, you have to be a song, you have to have lyrics, and a score track doesn't count. It's like, I don't know. I don't know if I care that much about this category, but if it was "I Lied to You," it'd be one of the coolest winners they've ever had. I like "Train Dreams" here, and that's really I haven't even listened to the thing from Vita Verdi, but
Yeah,
that's
it's not memorable. And also Diane Warren, like the only good song I've heard from her is like the Flamin' Hot Cheetos one, like honestly. But yeah, now we've come to the end of these categories, but as this was done with Siskel and Ebert, what do you think was the worst nomination of the entire lineup this year, or just the entire, like what single nomination do you think was like, what the hell were you guys thinking, Oscars?
you have to give me a minute for this one.
All right, I could probably talk. I could probably give you
Yeah,
mine.
you can go ahead if you know.
There were a few that I was not thrilled with, like One Battle After Another, getting picture, director, and screenplay was not ideal, but I don't hate that movie. It's more mid for me. But there were also a few. I did not like the screenplay for Blue Moon either, but there was one nomination, and it's also tough because also I didn't really care for Sinners getting visual effects. I really did not need that, but I don't know. But the one that really got on my nerves, I was like, even though I knew it was coming a mile away, but it was one of the worst aspects of this film. And I hope I don't make you upset because it's something you said you really liked. I hated the score in One Battle After Another. I hated that.
Oh,
I hated it. Look,
I could see somebody hating it, I guess.
and look, it's all good. I'm not gonna judge you for anything like that. It's all good. Like I'm fully willing to agree to disagree. I could not stand those piano keys. Like the way you described like a cat walking on them. It was exactly my experience. Like noise. I hated it so much. It ruined any amount of tension for me, and it just like it got under my skin in a way. A score I can't. But like I've not seen like a film that had like a wide release give me such a negative visceral reaction like the score in One Battle After Another.
I mean, I like when music is jarring and noisy. So
I mean,
this is certainly a matter of preference.
oh yeah, don't worry. And to be fair, I don't mind that as well. Like Begonia's score got really crazy around the end as well. I really liked that. So but I don't know what it was. It was it's like I just really hated the piano keys in that movie. But again, again, obviously, I like if you love it, that's awesome. But yeah, what do you think is the worst nomination?
Oh, this is so hard. I went through everything and I was like, do I like dislike anything happening? Like even like, oh, Kate Hudson Song and Blues, like she was good in the movie. Like I don't
Yeah.
need it to happen, but I didn't hate it. Like I don't know about the songs. Like I don't love the song Golden, but like it makes a lot of sense. It's there. I can't like be mad at it. I mean, I guess I would say like F1, we didn't need it to be in Best Picture, right? Like it's a perfectly good movie. It makes sense that Oscar voters like it. It makes sense that your parents like it, whatever. But that movie was not trying to achieve anything interesting. It actually was operating kind of purely on, you know, making a well engineered film that is like other Hollywood movies. And it's just not very novel to me. Like, it was a well made movie. In some ways, it was better than I expected, even. Like, some of the quieter scenes with Brad Pitt added like a fair amount of depth. But as far as an achievement in filmmaking, I don't think that it achieved that much that makes it, you know, merit having a Best Picture nomination.
Yeah, like I don't I don't actively dislike the nomination. Like it's just for me it's just a little for me it's just kind of like a simple it's good but I don't love it. Like I would prefer if it was like it was just an accident or no other choice obviously, but again, that was never going to happen and the Oscars hate me. It was a personal decision to not nominate those two films. But yeah, F1 getting Best Picture not amazing. Although it is tough to imagine what I would do if it like or like how I would feel if like the alternate was Blue Moon, but I don't know.
I hope that wasn't number 11.
I really hope
I
it.
mean, I don't hate Blue Moon, but I wouldn't need that either. So
Yeah, no, I really would not either. And those are what we would do if we picked the Oscar winners. This has been a really exciting time, a really exciting look at what we would do. We've agreed on some things, disagreed a lot, but you know what? It's all in good fun because we're not Oscar voters and we're not at each other's throats, despite the fact that the comment section is always trying to get at my throat. So yeah, how are you feeling about this whole thing? Did you enjoy picking Oscar winners? And do you feel like the Academy will make the right decisions come Oscar night?
when it comes to giving Sinners or One Battle Best Picture, I don't think there's a decision that's too wrong there. My opinion. As far as our conversation goes, I think it was cordial and respectful, and we've shown the world that in these divided times, you can disagree on things, and you can get along at the end of the day. And I think this is an inspiring message that generations will carry with them. And we've made a really big impact on the world, I think, with this video.
Exactly. That being said, how dare you praise one battle after another and its score? How could you? Like, this is going to tear a rift in the Oscar fandom.
How dare you shit on Johnny Greenwood and Paul Thomas Anderson? These men are some of the most influential and great artists of the 90s and going forward. How dare you do this?
Fake news, fake news. This has been a lot of fun, and I'll wrap up this video and then we'll wrap up the call afterwards. But now I'm going to pass the question off to you. What are your picks for the Oscar winners? Let me know in the comments below what you think, and be sure you hit that subscribe button, because if you don't,
I'll decapitate your least favorite animal and put him in your mailbox.